We are here today at Vino Wine Bar filming another episode of Trauma to Triumph. I am Terry Long, CEO and founder of Trauma to Triumph, where we will heal millions through the sharing of our real life stories. We will turn wounds into wisdom, one story at a time.
From trauma to triumph, I will soar. What broke me once won't break me more. I'm a phoenix, I'm alive. Out of the ashes, I'll survive.
We're here today with philanthropist, veteran, father, entrepreneur, real estate agent, so many things. My brother James, thank you so much for being a part of tonight's episode of Trauma to Triumph. We're here at Vino Wine Bar. Thank you so much to Vino Wine Bar at the Harbor. James, we're here today to talk about your journey of trauma to triumph, real life trauma, and how you transitioned from that incident to living a triumphant life now. People don't know how much faith it takes to live after something that you have gone through, to continue living. And so I want you to go back as far as you're comfortable going back and let people know what led up to the traumatic episode that happened in your life, how you got through it, and tell us a little bit about that process in the middle.
Sure, but thank you, Terry T. Long, for inviting me to your Trauma to Tragedy,
Trauma to Triumph,
Trauma to Triumph podcast, and to allow me to give my testimony and in hopes that it may help to save someone else that's going through such a tragic or traumatizing moment.
Traumatizing. Yeah, there's no other way to say it. It was very traumatizing. So you want to give us a little background?
Sure. So I was married for 27 years to my wonderful wife, Talita Javon Oxley.
Wow.
And we moved to Maryland in 97. We had our first kid during 9/11, 2001, and then 2002. And then 2013, we had another boy. And then 2019, we had another
back
kid.
to back, you're raising a family.
So we're raising a family.
Okay. And
I come from Washington, D.C., so does Talita. We both live in the same area in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And you know, I went through the streets and the life of the wilderness in D.C.
Yeah.
So being a father now and a husband, I wanted to teach my kids or tell my kids stories about the street life, about the things that I went through, and that they have choices to make in life. They can either choose the streets or they can choose a great life. Mm-hmm. So in doing just the telling them, I had to show them through action. So again, you know, I'm an actor, and I joined the military in 2005. So 0505, joined the military. My wife and I then bought our second home, and she had her degree, I had my degree, and we were just teaching our kids about life, our sons about life. Mm-hmm. And then they started getting older.
So this time you have how many kids?
So this time we had 4 boys. I have a total of 5. James, you know, I had them prior to meet my wife. But we had four boys together. Okay. And then eventually we had 5 kids. Okay. A girl came along. So raising them, the other kids, I'm just fast forwarding. Our oldest son, he went off to the military, joined the Air Force. Okay. Our other son was at home with us, and then our 15-year-old son and our 8-year-old, and then our daughter at the time was 2. So the tragedy happened with our 15-year-old son at the time.
Okay, so, you know, you've raised these kids. Now you're in a home in Maryland still?
Still in Maryland,
15.
Clinton, Maryland.
And how old are the kids that live with you at this time?
So, I would say 2019, 19, 18, 15, 8, and the 2-year-old.
Okay, all right.
And our middle, our 15-year-old son at the time, was, you know, going to school. He was short in stature and light skin, curly hair. So, you know, he was a little pretty boy kid. But a lot of times, you know, people would pick on him or girls would smack on him behind and do certain things, and he would get in trouble. And then we found out, you know, with the teachers or the principal, we found out that, you know, it was actually somebody else started the incident. We had him in church first, in our school, in church. We had our church at a school. So they wanted to play sports, so we ended up letting him go to a public school, which I think was kind of a detriment to us.
Okay.
That happened. But anyway, he went to middle school, and then when he went to high school, he was a good kid, you know, at the time. He and my wife were really tight. He always loved to help people, social butterfly. We even got him on Chop Jr., so he was on the episode of Chop Jr.
Wow.
Yeah, took him to New York to film that at Chelsea Studio in New York. So he inspired he wanted to be a chef after his godmother, who passed away, so he was really hurt by that as well. And then when he get to high school, we allowed him to play football, so he played football.
Okay.
And then he was getting in fights at the school.
He's in public school
He's
still?
in public school still.
Okay.
Because he wanted to play sports, so he even played baseball, softball when he was in middle school. So we let him play sports because that's what they wanted to do, to keep him busy. My kids wanted for nothing. They had everything. They had the new Jordans, the new shoes, whatever they wanted.
Okay.
Their requirement was to go to school, get an education, stay out of trouble. And when he went to Frederick Douglass, he ended up, we didn't know. So in our community, our home, the homes we live in, we're in our homes are new, but it's inside of an older community in Clinton. So the other homes around us are old.
I see.
In our neighborhood are the new build homes.
Okay.
So he was going to school with some kids who lived in the older homes on the outside of the street.
Okay, so they had been living in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Okay.
And we also allowed him to get a job at Three Brothers Pizza in Clinton. And one day I went to pick him up from work, and he smelled like marijuana. So I was like, boy, you smoking? He was like, no, I was in the car with my friend. I'm like, all right. I know what marijuana smell like, and I know you've been smoking. So he was in the back seat. I get home, and I shared with my then wife that I think he's smoking. He smelled like marijuana. So then she started, investigating and asking him. Then we get his iPad and his cell phone, and this kid was living a whole double life.
Wow. That you all didn't even know.
Didn't even know.
Wow.
He was this innocent, sweet kid in front of us.
Wow.
I mean, our neighbor next door, she was a single mom, single person. Her daughter went off to college, so she was home by herself, And my son would go over there, help cut her grass, do if the snow came.
Right.
Whatever she wanted, he would help her. And so he was a sweet, innocent kid. If they can go back and look at the Fox reel from that evening, the neighbors were interviewed, and they was like, yeah, they was such a good family. He was such a good kid. And we realized he was living a double life.
He was living a double life. So the wife goes into his iPad and phone, and you all realize he's living a double life. Do you all confront him?
Yes, we confront him. He had all kinds of stuff in there. Pictures of guns and a recording. We had a recording, some dude talking about he a Crip, and he'll pull up, give him the address. So this kid putting us our life in danger, right? And I'm in the military. I'm still in the military. I'm retired, and I was in Virginia, so I got transferred to a drill sergeant unit in Virginia. And we had a lot of Prince William County police officers in our unit. And I can remember that there was a shooting, 2 incidents in Prince William County around that same time when this guy young guy went into the home and shot up the people in the home because he was beefing with the kids that was there and shot him up. And it was on the news. And then another same incident, the kid, went to another home and shot, and it just so happened that it came on Fox 5 News, and we was looking at the episode, and I was telling, we was having a conversation with him, and we showed him the trouble that he can bring to our home. Something happened. I didn't trust him no more.
Wow.
There was a continent or something on his face, and I told my wife, I said, I don't trust him anymore.
Wow.
And we have all these kids in the home, that we have to protect, including ourselves. And she actually listened to me, you know, and she had him to go with her mother, stay with her mother. And when we would pick him up, she'll drop him off at school, then I'll pick him up. Then we found out he was getting high going to the bus stop.
Wow.
So he would go to the bus stop with the kids down the block, and he was getting high before he was going to school. And sometimes in school, if he don't miss a class or something, the teachers will call us. So now we have everybody monitoring, teachers, principals, everybody will call us. If you miss a class, or you know, I think they put it in the system, it'll alert you or something if he didn't show up or if he showed up late. And I didn't trust him. We tried to get him help. We couldn't get help. I'm in the military. He was calling around, and they was like, well, and this is around September 2021. All this started happening that fast, snowball out of the snowball that fast. And we couldn't get him help, and they was like, well, he's 15. He has to volunteer, and they was doing Zoom calls. But
And who was they?
some program we found for him. I
Okay.
can't think of the program right now.
Okay.
But I mean,
But
you know,
you were trying to get him some help.
trying to get him some help.
Okay. Now, did he feel like he needed help, or he was just doing what his parents told him that he had to do?
Yeah, he felt like he ain't had no problem.
Right.
you know?
Okay. Typical teenager.
Yeah, and then I knew his hair was his pride and joy, his hair. So we sent him to our barber, a Christian barbershop, Clinton One, the boys. And we said, my wife and I went somewhere because he was older. So we said we wanted to get a number one. That means he had to have all his hair cut off.
Oh, wow.
So we noticed that when we got back, he didn't. And then he became defiant. And then he rebelled. And then he turned against us.
And he's 15.
15.
Okay. Wow.
Just like that. So an incident happened. He was, my wife was arguing him. They was going back and forth because I'm just there to make sure that they don't do anything to her.
Right.
She was a disciplinary. I was just there as the muscle, just make sure they didn't do nothing,
Right.
anything. And they got into it, had an argument. He ended up storming out of the house. And she was like, let him go. And then we sat down and said, no, he's 15. If something happened, we're still responsible. So then I said, just call the police. So we called the police. And my son, who was living with us at the time, knew what house he went to. So the police went down to the house to get him. And when he came back up, this kid was stoned out of his mind.
Really?
I mean, he was fried. He didn't know
So
where
he was at
at.
a neighbor's house?
The young kids he went to school with.
Okay, that lived in the older.
Down the street
I
in the
see.
older neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And when the police went in there to get him, they was telling us and sharing with us that the mother, the grandma, all of them, it was a house full of people. Their kids were in there doing drugs and all kinds of stuff.
What?
He came back home with somebody dirty sweat on, and it was crazy. And the officer standing there, he looking around. He like, we standing here looking in this big house. You want to be down there in that disgusting environment?
Right.
He was like, these kids want your life, but he didn't get it.
So the police officer even tried to talk some sense into him.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it.
Nope. So this was going on. So now, our son in the military came off from Thanksgiving early. So my wife wanted all the family, all the kids there. So we did that. Then we sent them back to to her mother's, his grandmother. And then December came and we brought them back for December dinner. But by this time, we had a big snow coming. And then they had COVID in the school, so everything shut down.
Everything shut down.
So now he's in the house, and we can monitor him. He couldn't go down, hang out with his friends, get high.
Right.
So we monitor him. But fast forward, coming to January, January 5th, my wife was sick. She didn't know she had COVID, flu. She was just
What
scared.
year are we in now?
So now we in 2022.
January of 2022.
January 6th, 2022.
Okay.
So she didn't know she had COVID, flu, or anything. She was sick, so I said, all right, let's go. So I took her to Southern Maryland Hospital. They kept her overnight for observation, running all these tests. And then they released her the next day. And I went to get her and my other son that was living for me from work, and came back home. And we were fasting in our fasting period. And while we were fasting, she came home, went upstairs, had taken a shower. So I, told the boys, I said, hey, clean up so I can prepare our meal. So I fixed the food. I'm sitting on the couch here. My 8-year-old sitting one seat down. My 2-year-old's on the floor on the little Minnie Mouse couch sleep. And the 15-year-old was sitting behind in the eating room, right behind the couch.
So we're all in the same vicinity.
Family room,
the family room. So you have an 8-year-old in there, a 2-year-old, your daughter is 2 years old, an 8-year-old son, and the 15-year-old. Okay.
And my other son was upstairs because
Okay.
he had just gotten out of work, and my wife. So he went upstairs. The 15-year-old went upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife was in my big chair and recliner. She was stressed out, and then she got up. And so in my house, there's a staircase. You can go down the front to the out, or you can go down the butler's pantry. So I have 2 entrances, and you can come around like this. One side you're on the butler's pantry side, and the kitchen. The other side is the business office and the bathroom.
Okay.
So she gets up, she walks past me, she touches me on the head and said, best friend. Now, in 27 years, ups and downs that we have gone through, she has never said best friend.
She's never called you that?
She never said best friend. That was the first time she ever said best friend.
Wow.
Right. So she goes to the bathroom, and our former years of our marriage, like any marriage, it was rough, but I hung in there. I hung in there, and I wasn't going to abandon my family for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
And our latter years were much better. We became best friends. So she came back out. She went back to the recliner. She sat down, and I hear pow, pow, and I'm like, I had that TV awfully loud because we have this big old television on the wall. And I'm looking for the remote to turn it down. I see my wife sit up, and I hear a shot again, pow. And I see her sit back, and I look, and I see a silhouette of somebody just standing there. And I'm looking, my eyes focusing, and he just turned real fast, and he shoots my 8-year-old twice.
Who was he?
The 15-year-old.
Your 15-year-old son?
Yes. Shoots my 8-year-old twice. Pow, pow. In the face. I just jumped up. I just went. When at my focus, I seen who it was. I just jumped up and I went at him, and he had the gun pointed at me point blank, and he fired it. Pow, pow. And it wasn't nothing but the grace of God that the bullet. One of the bullets struck me. Struck me here.
Oh, my God.
One of the bullets struck me here. Let me take this off. One struck me here, tore through the bone, the copper tunnel, and came out right here, and you could feel it. The bone is shattered. So they had to go in and take some other bone to mix it, bend it, and then at the same time, it took me a year to recover, right? 2023, I had a temporary plate in there, and I broke it and snapped it back. So they had to open it back up and put a rod in there. And I graduated from Liberty University 2023 May with my MBA in real estate development, right? So I had to put the gown on. So I cut the cast off and wrapped it so I can get through it. And he also...
I'm not even there yet, James. I'm still back at the day.
And he shot me right there.
Oh, God.
So I get hit there and there, and it took a big chunk of meat out of my bone.
I'm still stuck. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm still stuck. I'm gonna wait until we can get you together first.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. All right.
So he,
Take me back though. January 6, 2022. Your 15-year-old son shoots his mother, his
and they
biological
were
mother.
tight like that.
He shoots his 8-year-old brother,
Yes.
and he shot you as well.
Yes. When I jumped up to stop him, I just went at him, and he had the gun, and he fired it twice. And that's why I say it wasn't nothing but the grace of God, because I was this close to him, and he's shooting point blank range that the bullet hit me here and in my side instead of in my center mass. It wasn't nothing but God who protected us.
In this moment, did you know whether your wife was still alive or your 8-year-old son was still alive? Like, what? Help us understand what this moment, what's happening. You are shot. Where's your son? Where's your wife? Where's your, like, help us.
So the baby was still on the floor.
The 2-year-old.
The 2-year-old still on the floor.
She did not get shot.
No.
Okay.
I looked, and my wife was not moving at all. My 8-year-old was sitting up, and then he was slumped over, so I thought he was asleep. I didn't even realize he was dead at the time. I thought he was asleep. The boy dropped the gun. I chased him. So you can go around this way. Again, you can go around this way where the business office is, or you can go around the butler's pen. So he ran around this way to the front door, and I ran around the other way, and Madeline grabbed him. But mind you, I didn't know I was shot at the time. I didn't even know he shot me at the time. So I grabbed him, and I was trying to slam him. When I tried to grab him with this hand, I couldn't. I was like, he must have shot me. The Lord told me to let him go. God said, let him go, because I was feeling dizzy. I let him go. He ran out the back door. I locked the door. I went over to a tent. I'm on the phone with paramedics, with 911, talking to them. And I went over to my wife, and I'm looking, and her eyes were fixed, pupils was fixed, dilated, and where the gunshot went through, it was an instant. It went through her, so it was like instant. And then I went over to my 8-year-old son, and I just felt something squishy on the floor, and he was laying down, and I didn't realize I was in a pot of his blood that he just bled out. And by this time, so but by this time, I'm still on the phone with 911, and I'm like, no, they're gone. I don't think they made it. They're not here. They're gone. They transitioned, and they was like, who did it? And I kept telling them who did it. They kept asking me. I told them who did it. And then this time, my son upstairs ended up coming downstairs, and he was like, who did this? And I told him who did it. And he was like, where you at? I said, he's gone. And then by this time, the police arrived. And the same police who came twice was the same police who came that day, and he knew who it was. And he ran straight upstairs looking for him. I said, no, he's not up there. He's gone. And then I tried, I grabbed my wife, just to see if it was any life, any pulse or anything there. And it was nothing. She was lifeless. She was gone. It was instant. When the police and the paramedics came, they had taken me out of the front room. The family room. Had taken me into the dining room area because they didn't want me to see them working on my wife and my son. And then I had Zion take the baby upstairs, and I was on the phone with her mother, telling her what happened. So she was on the way there, and then they had taken me out, and they had the dogs, and they went looking for him. And then they took me to Southern Maryland, and then medevaced me to the new hospital, Regency Hospital, Atlanta.
Oh my God. I don't even know what to say right now. James, you witnessed your 15-year-old biological child shoot his mother and his 8-year-old brother. Killed them both.
Killing them.
In your home.
Yeah.
The home that you raised them in.
Yeah, in our family room.
In your family room.
During our time of fasting.
In front of your 2-year-old daughter.
Yes.
This is a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
This is a lot. He tried to kill you.
Yes. Shot me twice. Mm-hmm.
You're at the hospital. Your 2-year-old is with the older brother,
With her grandmother.
with her grandmother by this time. But the grandmother is the mom of
My wife, which is her
your
only
wife,
daughter.
her only daughter who just got killed.
And that's her only granddaughter. So yeah, so I'm at the hospital, I'm on a gurney, and the detective's there, and they hand me the phone saying, Sierra Fox from Fox News want to talk to you. So by this time, they gave me some type of Dilatos or demo something. They gave me Dilatos, I believe. And I'm talking to her. She asking me what happened. And then, I told her, I said, I forgive my son and I love him.
James, how do you instantly say, I forgive my son and I love him, after your son just took the life of your wife of 27 years, your 8-year-old son, who, like 8 years old? How do you just be like, I forgive him?
Because Jeremiah 1:5 in the Bible said that God knew me when I was in my mother's belly, and he called me and ordained me a prophet to the nation. Jeremiah 29:11 said, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, give you an expected end and not to harm you. So I've been reading the Bible since I was 5 years old. I've been in the Word of God. And I can remember a story in the Bible, and I can remember shows where Jesus was on the cross when they was crucifying him. And he looked to the Father. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So that has always stuck with me. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So because I'm a father, I had to forgive him because he didn't know what he was doing. So what I'm thinking would happen is that when I went to get my wife, he ended up probably had a drug call, somebody to bring him some drugs. Because when I grabbed him at the door, he was stone-faced. I mean, there was no emotions. There was no smile, no frowns. He didn't say a word. He was just like ice. He was just stone-faced. So I knew that whatever he ingested moved his spirit out of the way, and the spirit of the drugs and the devil took over and removed him out of the way because he wasn't there at all.
It wasn't him.
It wasn't him at all. And yet, again, that just came to my remembrance. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
I don't know how many parents could forgive their child, the child that took the life of the mother and another sibling. I just don't know. I don't know. I look at you as like an exceptional individual who can go through something like that, watch something like that, almost have your own life taken by your son, and then say, I forgive him, I love him. If that isn't a real life example of loving the way God loves us, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I had to take my power back. I couldn't allow the enemy or him to take it. I had to take it back, and in order to do that, the forgiveness is not just for him, but it's for me. It was the process of my healing journey. Had I not forgiven and I resented him, I would go through a lot of trauma and torment in my body, my spirit, and my mind and soul. And like I told them on the other podcast, they say, well, do you ever look back and say, if I could have done something? And I said, you know what? One time I did, and then I said, why? Because what was going to happen was going to happen no matter what. There was nothing I could have done. Nothing. Whatever he made up in his mind when he turned against his mother, because she started taking everything from him and just, he resented that.
I was going to ask, did you ever ask him why? Have you and your son ever had a conversation?
No.
To say, why did you do that?
No, I haven't seen him yet. I mean, it's outside of court. His grandmother goes to see him. So when we was going through court while he was here, he's been sentenced. Because when they're juveniles, they don't plead guilty. They plea is involved.
Okay.
So is involved. He was involved. So when he was sentenced, after he got sentenced, he pled involved. I looked at the judge. He was sitting right here, and I was behind him. And I said, "Can I hug my son?" And he looked at me. He was like, "Hug your son." He was like, "We never allowed that in all the years I've been in court." He said, "If the bailiff," so I looked at the bailiff. I was like, "Can I hug my son?" He was like, Looked at the judge like, sure. So I hugged him.
They let you hug him? Man. Wow. Because that's still your child.
Yeah.
You know, that's your child.
So I hugged him and I told him I love him, get well, forgive himself, and get back in a relationship with God.
And you haven't seen him?
No, I'm gonna go one day. You know, when the Lord, I move out with God, how God tells me to move.
So you can go see him, you've just chosen not to.
Yeah, because the Spirit of God hadn't told me to move yet. So I know it's about to happen because I can feel it leading up to that. So he had to sit in what he was doing. Now he's 18. So he had to sit in that because he's in denial for a very long time.
Really?
About it, you know. Because when he was in Shonam, they would call us and give us information about, you know. And he said, oh, I'll be back out. I'll be back out. I ain't do nothing. Tell me what I did. I ain't do nothing. You know, he was like, I ain't do nothing. What'd I do? What'd I do? You tell me what I did. Like, I don't know, if he blanked it out, but he didn't realize that he killed his mother, his brother, and trapped me twice. He didn't know why he was locked up because he was under whatever influence. So then the lady said that one day he told her, the counselor said he told her that he had taken a whole bunch of Percocets that day. And we don't have any drugs in the house, you know, outside of Tylenol or Motrin and stuff like that. No alcohol, nothing. So I knew when I went to pick her up, he ended up probably calling somebody down the street to bring him in. I know that's probably what happened. And they didn't even do a toxicology on him. You know, that's another thing. But, so yeah, and, you know, after that, I just had to start a rebuilding process, healing process. You know, when I was in the military, so in 2007, when I went to Iraq, you know, I knew we was gonna get hit by a roadside bomb that day. And I told my lieutenant, I told everybody, I said, we're gonna get hit today. I said, but we're gonna be all right, because God said we're gonna be all right. And my handle was Preacher Man. So we take our last name off and we create a handle. So mine was Preacher Man. So it was like, oh, Preacher Man, we with you. And mind you, I'm with men. So and we're in the combat infantry, but yeah, I was with the combat infantry. I was a combat engineer, but I got transferred to that unit when President Bush did the shock and awe. So I'm with that unit, and mind you, it's mainly all white boys, you know. So they was like, oh, Ox, we know. I mean, they say, Preacher Man, we know we with you. So we going on the convoy. And I felt it. And I told the lieutenant 3 times, I said, get us off this road, because I was his gunner. And he didn't listen. We got hit by my truck. Directly got hit by a roadside bomb in 2007. So, you know, I had to go through psych classes and training, you know, psychology, and I had to sit in sessions, and, you know, so one of the things that, you know, they give you tools, you know. So one of the tools with this is that I asked God, what can I use to get through this? Because I see the murder of my wife and my son and me getting shot every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every month for now 3 years. January 6, 22, and mind you, it snowed like crazy, January 6, 2022. January of this year, 2022, we had another big snowstorm.
Yeah, we did.
And this was the 3rd year anniversary of the snowstorm. Another thing I asked God, if I can pull it up, you can go to ask him some questions if I can pull this up.
Oh my gosh. So the house that your son committed these murders inside of, what happened with that house? Are you still there? What happened?
Yes, I am still in that house.
Wow.
I'm still in that house.
You must be a mentally tough guy. How do you stay in that house?
I took my power. I took the power back. I took it back from the enemy. You know, I took it back. I didn't allow myself to go inside of myself. I prayed, and I had such a strong relationship with God. Because even with that moment when it happened, and I can't explain it, it was like a peace that surpasses all understanding came over me. I didn't panic. I wasn't angry. It was just a peace. I was calm and still in the moment. And I can't explain it. You know, it was just God. It was the relationship that I have with God. His spirit communed with my spirit. you know. And I asked God, I said, Lord, I said, God, because I believe the Bible, right? I said, give me a scripture, what time and season that we're in. And he gave me Matthew 10:21. He said, brother will betray brother to death, and the father his child, and the child will rise up and rebel against their parents and cause them to be put to death. That's Matthew 10:21. When I asked the Lord to give me a scripture, this is the scripture he gave me. I was like, okay, so we're in this time. You know, so now, if you look at the Bible, because God written the Bible from the beginning to the end, so we went through all the Genesis, phase, Exodus, everything else. Now you look at it, we in perilous times.
Yeah, we are.
Wars against wars, rumors of wars, boasters, lovers of themselves.
Yeah.
We're in those times, you know, and it's surreal. So because I know this, right, the Bible, B-I-B-L-E, basic instructions before leaving earth, because I know the basic instructions before leaving earth that God has given me, I can see everything that's coming. I have this strong intuition. I have the strong discernment. I can see presence. I can see future. I can read just about anybody and tell you what's going on. And a lot of people are afraid because I'm dead on. Because God shows me things, and he showed me that boy. And I told my wife that he was dangerous and I didn't trust him. He showed me. I seen it all over his face. And this was 3 months prior to this incident happening. And it came to fruition what God showed me. It came to fruition. And my wife, I can remember my wife said, well, I think he wants to hurt you. Talking about me. You know, because when she, even in the phase of everything he was going through, because he wanted to be in the military as well, and the cook, the chef, they went to Walmart. And for his birthday, because his birthday was September 30th. And like I said, this would happen before his birthday. And he wanted a 12 gauge rifle, so he can shoot out back. And he said, no, I'm gonna call your father. And she said, no, because dad gonna say, no, don't get him one. So she called me and I said, no, don't get him no gun. I said, you see how he was acting? No. He ain't bringing no gun in here. And he was like, see, I told you. And then when they got home, she was planning a big getaway in Florida.
Where did he get the gun from?
He found mine.
He took one of yours.
Yeah. So I never wanted a gun in the home. I was in the military. I didn't never want a gun in the home. But when I got deployed to Iraq in 2007, my wife was left home with the boys. And this when we had our townhouse in Upper Marlboro. And she didn't want to be there without any protection. So I went to a small arms range, purchased a weapon, and she, you know, we did some target shooting, helped her show how to shoot, fire, load, unload, and things like that. So we had a safe place, stayed safe and all that. I was away on military duty, and she called me and the alarm went off, and she got the gun. And she always bring the boys into our rooms, you know, so everybody can be in one central place. And she didn't know, I forgot how to unload it, and she called me. So my thing is, I think he knew where she had put it.
Yeah.
You know, she knew, he must have knew where she had put it, you know, and that's how he ended up getting a hold to it, you know, and that's what the detective said, you know, he was 15, he knew right and from wrong.
He's 15 years old.
You know.
How old is he now?
He's 18 now, so it's been 3 years.
And have you anticipated what the moment will be like when you finally go see your child? This will be the first time you've...
Hey, when I go see him, how you doing? You all right? Okay. You know I still love you. Have you forgiven yourself? Have you talked to God? I said, I certainly forgave you. I said, your mom forgave you. Your brothers forgave you. You need to forgive yourself, learn how to live.
Do you believe his brothers have forgiven him?
Oh, no.
You think they ever will?
I'm talking about the one that transitioned.
Right.
Forgave him in the spirit.
In the spirit. But the 8-year-old.
The ones, the brothers that was born into the marriage with my wife, they pretty much disowned him.
So you don't believe they'll ever forgive their brother for taking the life of their mom?
No. And I don't even want him to see him because I don't know what's going to happen.
Meaning you don't want the brothers to
yeah, because it's not going to be.
It's not going to end well.
No.
You think it'll be like that forever?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there anything you as the father could do to fix that?
No.
Because your other son will get out one day.
Yeah, he's gonna get out one day. And I already told him. I mean, I already shared with him. I said, leave it in God's hand. I said, don't do nothing to get yourself in trouble and locked up.
Are you planning to let him help him, like come live with you?
Oh,
or
nah.
nothing like that.
But, you know, we're saving money up for him. You know,
Right, you're
we're
planning
saving
to
money.
make sure that he'll be
Yeah,
okay.
because I mean, by the time he get out, he'll be 21. So
Okay.
he had juvenile life, and that's another thing. He had two life sentences and attempted and a number of charges on attempted murder on me. And the Lord spoke, and you know, the judge. I mean, his attorney, his grandmother didn't want him to do life, and he's trying to get me to, you know.
He's 15, he shouldn't have to do life.
Right. So I told them, let me have a conversation with God about this. Don't keep asking me. You know, when the Lord speaks to me, then I know whether it's right to advocate on his behalf. And then the Lord did. You know, he spoke to me. He said, why you cannot criminalize mental illness. You know, he's never been locked up. He's never done this. He had a mental illness or some type of psychotic breakdown. So I wrote a dissertation to the judge stating why he should be taken off adult life sentence and put back to juvenile life sentence. And in court, when he was sentencing him, he took everything into consideration and he read the letter and he passed it back down to the juvenile court. And this is what I forgot to say also, when he was in Cheltenham, because he was getting a lot of fights there. And they were calling me, but he had passed out in the cafeteria. And when he passed out, they had taken him to George Washington Hospital and they did a CAT scan on his brain. And it showed that he had all these lesions on his brain.
Wow.
And some rare form of multiple sclerosis. So what we was thinking is that we found out he was vaping a lot. And he started having this nasty cough and like rattle in his chest. And we found out he was vaping a lot. So we thinking that the vape pens also probably had something to do with the lesions on the brain or whatever else he had. So he has to take this medicine like every 6 months. And I remember I got the first bill, it was $75,000.
For the medicine?
For 6 months of that medicine, $75,000. Thank God my TRICARE insurance covered it. Now he's 18, so it's covered by the state. But he has to take it every 6 months. He's actually going to be deteriorating. So he's going to be going down. But it was funny that you mentioned that because when our pastor preached the eulogy, he prophesied on the stage and he said, you and your son are going to go around speaking to millions about this situation.
You could probably heal millions of people if that happens, James. I mean, even just your testimony on platforms like this is healing to people, because most people can't understand how you can go on, how you can even wake up another day after witnessing your child that you brought into this world take out the mom who birthed him and his 8-year-old brother. An 8-year-old child. It just breaks my heart. And then let me ask you, your 2-year-old, are you concerned about the questions that you're going to get from her as she grows older, or just her mental toughness from having to see that?
Now, I don't know if she actually seen it, but what I think was happening is that she heard people talking about it because she mentioned it. She said, he killed mommy, and I told him, I said, mommy and, my other son, the 8-year-old, I said, mommy and Asa went to heaven to be with the Lord, I talked to her. So I plan on getting her some counseling. Soon, because she's going to turn 6 and she's very smart and intelligent. Yeah. So I plan on getting her some counseling so, she can grow into that healing. Yeah. With some counseling and, time has already elapsed. Yeah. So that will help her, to deal with anything because she's very smart, to deal with anything that she may recollect. So I'm gonna get her some counseling, and I'm just trying to find the right counselor. Right, that's important. For her.
That's very important. So, as we come to a close, where do you see your family life in the next several years? I mean, do you believe the preacher who prophesies that you and your son will travel the world telling testimony?
Well, that's if it's just what he prophesied, and he's a true prophet, and it comes to fruition, that's what God has, and that's a possibility. But as far as us living together, we can never live together.
Are you looking forward to him being out? Having a relationship with him again?
Well, I pray that while he's in it, because he's in this facility where he gets mental care, drug counseling, he gets all kinds of counseling. So I would know that when I go to visit him.
Okay.
To see where his constant spirit is. So I would know that then, and the Lord would show me and share with me. So I'll cross it. We can do this again.
I was going to say, I'd love to be able to do a part 2 to this story.
Yeah.
Once you have gone to go see him, it'll be interesting to know, what your feelings are like after that.
Right.
And, you can answer my question. What's next for y'all?
But right now, my wife, right now, my daughter and I, we're just growing. I'm a widow, single dad, and I date to marry. I was looking for a wife, but right now, I put all that on hold just to focus on me.
Focus on you.
Because I've been engaged. Like I told you, I was engaged when I was 15. For 4 years, and I met my son's mother. Then I met my wife in 94 to 2022. So I was always in a relationship. I don't bounce around from woman to woman to woman. That's just never been my spirit. Yeah. It's always one wife, one life. So now that death did us part, I'm free, but now I'm focusing on me, my happiness, my joy, my peace of mind. So when I do meet my wife,
you'll be ready.
She'll know that I'm fully healed, that,
that's important.
It's God's plan.
Yeah.
So I'm just focusing on me.
I just want you to know that your story is such a testament to someone who has faith. Like, we say we have faith. We say we're gonna, move in faith. We're gonna focus on what God says and not what we see. But when we really are hit with something traumatic like that, can we really, really walk it out like you have? Mm-hmm. Like, you have really shown that you believe radically what God said.
Yeah. I stand on His
because
word.
that's the only way that you would be able to continue to go on
That's
after something like this.
That's the only way.
But you say you do think about it, like it
because
it happens. You see this thing happening in your mind all the time.
It's trauma.
It's trauma.
It's a tragedy that happened. It's never gonna go away until I'm dead or gone or transition or walk with God. It's never gonna go away. So through all my tools that I've learned and doing the spiritual counseling with God, He's told me this one thing that resonates with me. Learn how to cope with it.
Learn how to cope with it.
Learn how to cope, because if you can cope, you can get through it all.
Okay.
And by having a relationship with God, and I can cope with what I see every day, and it doesn't bother me, and I pray and give it all to Him, He takes it away.
Takes it away.
So I turn my negatives and I put them into a positive. Mm-hmm. And I don't allow it to take over me, because I wouldn't be able to go on. I got a 5-year-old daughter I'm raising.
Yeah.
And, like I said, the Lord has been blessing me. I'm a 100% disabled vet now. So my mortgage dropped down to $2,000 from $3,000. I live in a $750,000 house. Mm-hmm. My mortgage is less than some people pay rent.
A lot of people will watch this and wonder, how can that man stay in that house that his wife and son was killed in?
Because you know what? When we had our townhouse, and that was a brand new house, and we was outgrowing it, and I said, go find a house. So she went to look for a house, and we was in looked at all these brand new houses. And when we walked to that one, it was the model home. Mm-hmm. And I never forget, we walked in there and we stand at the kitchen counter, and I said, this is our home. So I knew the moment that I walked in that home that was our home. Mm-hmm. And I know no devil in hell is going to run me out of it no matter what.
Wow.
Because it was God blessed me with it.
Wow.
So He healed me in that home. So now everything is still in the same place. The same furniture, the bed I sleep in, everything.
Furniture, everything, James?
Everything, same. I cleaned up a little bit. And I finally cleaned my business office up. But everything was in the same place. I still sit there, I watch, I look.
What about the chair that she was in?
The chair's still there.
That she got
killed in, my son, everything
really?
there. I had to sit still and sit in it as God gave me my power back.
Okay.
I had to take my power back. I could not let any of that defeat me. But now it's been 3-year anniversary. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. God does things at 3. He's a multiplying God. So now this is the time that I'll take my house through a transition, because in 2024, I told everyone, when 2025 comes, I'm purging people out of my life. I'm purging things out of my life that means me no good. And I'm purging foods and stuff out of my life because it's time to live. So I'm not just existing in this world, I'm living.
Okay.
So in 2025, that's the 3rd-year anniversary. So I purge people, I purge my body, my mind, my soul. I mean, I feel this joy God said, lean out to your own understanding. In all my ways, acknowledge him. And I have this joy like I've never had before.
Wow.
And I can't express it. It's just, I'm at peace. So now that I transition my body and everything else to match that, now my house, because this is the house first, this is the temple of God. So now the house that I live in is where I go through a transformation.
Okay.
So, but I had to stand still. I listen to God. See, the thing about what and that's why you see me posting stuff on the internet, because I get calls and people say, well, I don't think you heal. I think you need to see somebody. I say, why? Because I'm still living in the same house. I still got the same person. Don't cast your aspersions on me, how you would deal with it, on me.
Right.
That's how you would deal with life and trauma. That's not how God told me to deal with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of relationship you had with God, but I know what kind of relationship I had with God.
Right.
And I know how he speaks to me. So if I'm healed, I'm healed. Don't try to make it seem like I'm not healed, because I'm still in the same house and still have the same things.
Right.
I took my power back because I was ready to throw everything away. I said, man, get all this stuff. I don't want none of this. And I had people coming over ready to get rid of all of it. We had brand new furniture, just bought it. And I can remember God said, no, stand still, leave everything in place. I said, okay. And I can remember standing in the middle of the family room. And the Lord had me to bring this song, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. So I was in the middle of the family room and I was singing that song and I cried. And I cried my last tears. So now when I have tears or emotions, it's of joy, because I know that God he said he would never leave me, nor forsake me.
Yeah.
And I know that. I'm a living witness.
Yes.
Because I could be dead sleeping in my grave.
Yes.
But he left me here for times such as this.
For a time such as
Because
this.
so many people now are going to go through some traumatic stuff like never before.
Like never before.
And I already seen it, and he already prepped me for it.
Yeah. And he will use you like he never has before. So I'm just glad that he chose you.
I thank God he chose me.
I know you're
too.
ready for it.
Yeah. I told him, bring it on. I said,
For
Lord,
what
use
you've
me.
gone through, you're ready for it. And if you're ready, like the kids say, I'm ready for whatever.
I'm ready for whatever.
You ready for
I
what?
got hit by roadside bombs. Here's the irony. When I was younger, I was climbing up the wall. I was living on 5th Street, 9th Street Northwest, because I was born in 9th Street, or 6th and S. And I was climbing the wall like Spider-Man. My mother said, get down. And I said, no, Spider-Man. I slipped and broke his arm. And in the midst of breaking his arm, I bought a motorcycle. I wanted a motorcycle. I went to Prince George's Community College, got the motorcycle lessons and everything. Bought a motorcycle. This lady hit me, laid me down on my motorcycle, tore every ligament in my bone, gone. The doctor said, you would never use that hand again. When they took it out, it was like this, stiff like a board. He had rods and pins in it. I said, the devil is a liar. I said, don't tell me. I don't believe the report. I believe the report of the Lord. So I ended up starting working with it, and I was going to therapy, and they stopped breaking it up, breaking the scar tissue, breaking it. And then they stopped breaking it. So I went back, took x-rays, and everything was in there, fractured bones, everything. And he said, see? I said, nah. I said, see this rod in this pin? Take it out. I said, I wasn't born with it. I'm not going to die with it. He was like, Mr. Oxley, if you take it out, you got all these fractures. I said, God healed my hand. He said, okay, if you want it, you can see the suture right there. He took the rod out, and the screw in the rod out. I went back 2-3 weeks later. He did an x-ray of my hand. Everything in my hand was healed.
Was healed.
Everything. And now I get shot in his arm. It tears through the bone, tears through the carpal tunnel. And they thought I was going to lose my arm. And I said, no, I'm not going to lose it, because God healed me. So you remember when Jesus got pinned, they drove the nail through his arm. And they pierced him in his side. And when I got hit by the roadside bomb, it was like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. I was in a fiery furnace. So I've been going through these stories that I've been reading in this Bible all my life.
Yeah.
So it's nothing the devil, I lived a Job story, where he came in and took all the Job kids and everything else.
Yes.
And then he gave Job double. So I've been living a Job story. I've been living everything that I've lived in this life. And I said, God, bless me to be a blessing, blessed to bless. I said, whatever it is, use me. Even when we got hit by that roadside bomb, I said, let it be our truck, because I know that we'll survive. I said, if it's anybody else, they might not make it. And my truck got hit.
Wow.
I'm a living testimony.
Yes, you
I
are.
don't play when it comes to God.
Yes, you are. You are. I'm just very, very grateful for your testimony. I'm grateful for your transparency. I'm grateful that you are allowing God to use you and your life as the blueprint for how we are to lead with love, no matter what. No matter what.
No matter what.
Believe what God said.
Believe what he
not
said.
what we said. Thank you so much, Brother James.
My pleasure.
I'm waiting for part 2. Once you go and visit your son, I'd love to sit down again.
I'm yours.
Part 2.
I'm yours.
Okay.
Let me know.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for tuning
Thank
in
you.
to another episode of Trauma to Triumph.
This is my time, I'm born again.